News is the rating has come out for this game that Shedeur Sanders made his debut in, and some people were like, it was 3 times higher for the Hall of Fame. Nielsen, the Sporting News on X, 2.2 million people tuned in to see Sanders play for the Browns against the Carolina Panthers last week. All right, now a couple of other things to note. The Hall of Fame game.
The NFL thought a preseason game in August was supposed to be forgettable background noise, but Shedeur Sanders flipped the entire league upside down with one performance. 2.2 million people tuned in for a meaningless exhibition and walked away feeling like they had witnessed the birth of a star. It wasn't just a debut. It was a warning shot to every front office that thought he wasn't ready, every scout who downgraded him, and every critic who laughed when he slipped all the way to pick 144. The league had no idea what was coming, but the ratings told the story. On a Friday night, when most of America was out living their lives, the country stopped and locked in on Sanders. That's not hype. That's not manufactured storylines. That's raw demand. And it left the NFL looking like fools.
It was first read, second read, get the ball out, in rhythm. You get the opportunities in the red zone, and he throws a couple of high degree of difficulty passes. Puts it in a tough spot for touchdowns. But I don't think it's an overreaction to say already, listen, if you cut Shedeur Sanders now, he's getting claimed.
Yeah.
So let's start at that baseline of this. I know everybody wants to talk about, should he be the starter? Should he even start this week? Let's start at the baseline here, which is Shedeur's not getting cut.
Tom, there's probably some teams that hope he does get cut so they can write their draft.
Who let a star slip through their hands. But that was only the beginning. What made it so jaw-dropping wasn't just the numbers on paper. Sure, 14 of 23 with 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a passer rating over 100 is clean for any rookie. But this wasn't about box scores. This was about poise. This was about leadership. This was about a rookie who looked like he'd been in the league for years. Calm in the pocket, commanding in the huddle, delivering strikes against Carolina's first-team defense when he wasn't even supposed to see the field. 4th string to prime time in the blink of an eye. That's what drew the country in.
Second coming when he was better than expected. The bar was very low, 14 of 23, which is 60%, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, 106.8 passer rating. But it's what, and I agree with this here, I agree, it's what he showed beyond the statistics. Showed himself that he's a leader, but I think people pretty much knew that. I do. I think they pretty much knew that he was a big-time leader, was a personality, wasn't afraid of moments. That, and being calm under pressure, he showed that he was.
And that's why the league's executives should be sweating. Because Sanders didn't just show potential, he showed presence. A presence you can't teach. A presence you can't fake. And one that television ratings instantly confirmed. But here's the kicker. Sanders wasn't even supposed to start. The Browns barely gave him practice reps. He was buried on the depth chart, left for dead by an organization already juggling quarterbacks like a poker dealer shuffling cards. Then injuries struck Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel, and suddenly Sanders had his shot. Most 5th-round rookies would crumble under that kind of spotlight. Sanders didn't just survive it, he thrived. The moment looked too big for the team, but it never looked too big for him. Every snap felt like proof that the Browns accidentally stumbled into something the entire NFL overlooked. And the fans knew it. Ticket prices that were $12 suddenly exploded to $150 once word got out he might play. Jerseys with his number 12 started flying off shelves. Social media lit up like a Christmas tree. Des Bryant calling him the truth. Reggie Bush telling the league to give the people what they want. And then, LeBron James himself dropping praise after praise, telling Sanders to keep his head down, keep grinding, and keep chasing greatness.
In 51.1 million homes. So that's where you're seeing the big ratings difference. I mean, one's available in 70 million more homes, damn near it. All right, so yeah, that's going to make a massive difference. If this game would have been on NBC, Fox, ABC, and I'm talking about Shedeur's debut, and had they had it to do over, they probably would have gotten it on there. I mean, if they realized it was going to draw that kind of a rating on NFL Network, I mean...
When the king himself is watching preseason football in August, That's not just a player debut. That's a cultural event. That's a crossover moment that only happens once in a generation. And it's not just hype. Reports from NFL executives leaked in real time. High-ranking officials were shocked at how composed Sanders looked. Shocked at how clean his mechanics were. Shocked that a guy passed on more than 100 times in the draft, walked in, and looked more ready than half the quarterbacks taken in the first round. If that's not a wake-up call, I don't know what is. But the disrespect that fueled this entire story can't be ignored. Stephen A. Smith called it a disgrace during the draft when Sanders kept sliding down the board. Skip Bayless was even louder, saying every team that passed on him was about to look like fools. They were right, and Friday night made them look prophetic. How do you explain a quarterback with Sanders' production, leadership, and talent falling to the 5th round? Rumors suggest his agents pushed for a rare contract clause. Prime equity, a percentage of revenue from merchandise tied to his name. Some executives were scared off. But while teams were counting pennies, they forgot to count touchdowns. They forgot to count leadership.
Exactly what you wanted to see. I want to see, could he play with poise? Could he throw the ball with conviction? Could he be decisive? Could he go through his progressions? The pocket collapses. Could he take off? He showed me some of everything. I'm the over route, threw it on timing. Guy in his face, led him, boom, dropped it right in the bucket. He fit those balls, pressure in his face, the second touchdown. Pressure in his face, the first touchdown. The corner slumps off, the flat. The safety is hugging him. He fits it in, gets it in, boom. On the move, the touch pass over the top. As I mentioned at the top, the receiver did make a great play, but Shedeur had a nice loft. That's not an easy throw to make. He was in.
They forgot to count the fact that Sanders had been forged under more pressure at Colorado than most rookies will ever face. They looked at business. They ignored football. And now they're the ones looking like amateurs. Because Sanders proved immediately that the business and the football go hand in hand. He draws fans, he moves ratings, he sells jerseys, and he wins games. That's a combination the NFL craves, and Cleveland accidentally hit the jackpot by taking the gamble. Other teams were too cowardly to make. What separates this story from every other rookie debut is that it wasn't just Browns fans who showed up. Buffs Nation was there. Jackson State fans were there. Casual college football watchers who remembered Sanders carving defenses were there. Even neutrals who didn't care about Cleveland or Carolina locked in because they wanted to see if he could translate under NFL lights. And the moment he delivered, it became a cultural crossover. The kind you only see when a player's story is bigger than the sport itself. And yet, the most telling part of this entire night wasn't the numbers or the hype. It was what Sanders said afterward.
See about like the business side of it, he gets a percentage of everyone his jersey sales.
Oh yeah,
but everybody's buying them jerseys. And did y'all see the price of tickets for that preseason game after he announced that he was gonna be the starter?
Crazy.
Right on the shit went from $12 to $150.
And you can say it's preseason all you want to. NFL fans do not care about that. They locked in, bro. NFL fans different.
I'm just proud that he went out there and performed. He had a good game.
The clause is called prime equity. This clause gives Sanders a percentage of revenue generated from merchandise, sponsorships, and promotions linked to his name and likeness.
That nigga got NIL in the NFL.
He's too smart.
Yeah, that's why he got picked so far back, because apparently his agents wanted.
When asked to grade himself, he didn't give himself an A. He didn't even give himself a B. He said C+. A passing grade, sure, but far from satisfied. Think about that. After shredding an NFL defense, leading multiple touchdown drives, drawing millions of viewers, and having half the league buzzing, Sanders wasn't content. He saw mistakes. He saw room for improvement. He wasn't playing for praise. He was playing for perfection. That's championship DNA. That's the mindset of someone who won't let hype get to his head. While everyone else was celebrating, Sanders was already dissecting, already preparing, already demanding more from himself. And that's why this performance feels less like an accident and more like the foundation of something historic.
That game was in Carolina. The fact that in a preseason opener, you could have a 5th-round draft pick who, when he makes a completion, you can cut away every time to different groups of people in the stands wearing his jersey. His NFL jersey, not the Colorado jersey. Or in a number 12 Cleveland Browns jersey. That is something we rarely see.
Because most rookies enjoy their moment. Sanders treated his moment like step 1 in a marathon. a marathon he fully intends to win. The NFL has seen plenty of rookies flash in preseason before, but what separates Shedeur Sanders from the rest is how quickly he turned doubt into dominance. This wasn't a one-off highlight reel against backups. He was thrown against Carolina's first-team defense, pressured by real pass rushers, and still delivered like a seasoned starter. He didn't panic when the pocket collapsed. He didn't flinch when defenders closed in. He stepped up, planted his feet, and ripped darts into tight windows that most veterans wouldn't dare attempt. His first touchdown was a textbook play-action strike, freezing linebackers before threading the ball between two defenders. His second touchdown came with pressure in his face, yet he kept his eyes downfield, trusting his mechanics, and fired low and accurate where only his receiver could snag it. That's not luck. That's years of preparation colliding with opportunity. And in that moment, every GM who passed on him
I got pockets of finding my rhythm, and I got to get into that quicker, regardless of anything. But overall, I feel like me out there, you know, and I couldn't do it, of course, without the time. I couldn't do it without the play calling. I couldn't do it without anything. So I'm just thankful to even be able to have, you know, the joy of just being on the field overall, then carrying the responsibility of doing the right thing. You know, so that's 2 badges under my belt already, you know, that I got out there. I feel like we operated the huddle really, really good. So it's just a small detail that of course we practice on and we talk about, and I'll say, of course, towards the end, I'll say we got a little sloppy, and we overall gonna finish it up, and that's gonna be a point of emphasis going into this next.
Had to be sick to their stomach, because Sanders wasn't just good, he was composed. And that's the one thing you can't fake in the NFL. Meanwhile, the business side went berserk. Jersey sales spiked overnight, and not just in Cleveland. Fans across the country were buying number 12 Browns jerseys like they were limited edition drops. The resale market for preseason tickets shot up by more than 10 times. The NFL Network, which normally struggles for viewers in August, suddenly had its biggest night of the year. Sanders didn't just boost his own stock, he boosted the entire league. And yet teams thought a 5th round grade was fair. That's why this debut didn't just feel like a football story. It felt like a cultural slap in the face to the establishment. Because the NFL wants stars, the NFL needs stars, and somehow, they left one sitting there until round 5. The public noticed, the media noticed, social media noticed, even celebrities noticed. Des Bryant tweeting in all caps, Reggie Bush rallying fans, LeBron James practically hosting a watch party. That level of crossover attention for a preseason game is unheard of.
Even weighed in, that young king looking good out there, Shedeur Sanders. Keep going up, head down, and grind, and head high to the most high. Jordan Schultz, text from a high-ranking AFC North executive on the Browns rookie. Shedeur Sanders, it's early, but wow, actually shocked how good he looks. Nike football, when you get your opportunity, create the next one. Only matter of time.
Sanders turned what was supposed to be a meaningless August scrimmage into a spectacle. And the fact that he wasn't satisfied with himself afterward only adds to the legend. He called it a C+ performance. C+. For a night where he doubled preseason viewership averages, led 3 touchdown drives, and instantly became the most bet player for Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's the mentality of a competitor who's wired different. The scary part for the rest of the NFL is this. If that's a C+, what does an A look like? The story gets even juicier when you remember where he came from. At Colorado, he was the most pressured quarterback in the nation. Week after week, he got hit, blindsided, and tested. Instead of breaking him, it hardened him. It forced him to throw with defenders in his face. It taught him toughness. It taught him patience. So when he walked into Charlotte with real NFL pressure coming at him, it wasn't new.
I said before last college season started that Shedeur Sanders should go number 1 overall. It was either he or Travis, 1-2, 2-1, and I would go every time with the quarterback because he is the quarterback. He is him. He is the son of the greatest cornerback and to me the greatest athlete ever. Greatness flows through his veins, and I said it all year long. He should go 1 in the draft ahead of
It was muscle memory. He had already been forged in fire. That's why when he took hits in this game, he bounced right back up, celebrating with teammates. Never rattled, never shaken. That kind of toughness doesn't show up in draft interviews. You can't measure it with combine stats. But under the lights, everyone saw it. And it sent shockwaves across the league. Commentators who once doubted him are now eating crow. Stephen A. Smith called it a disgrace that he wasn't a first rounder. Skip Bayless said this was proof of a colossal mistake by 31 other teams. Analysts compared him to quarterbacks taken ahead of him and wondered how anyone could justify it. Scouts who questioned his decision-making watched him go through reads smoothly, deliver on timing routes, and handle red zone execution with surgical precision. The excuses are gone. The tape is real.
This is what you're going to have to do as a quarterback in the NFL. Step up in dirty pockets, pressure in your face, stare him down, keep your eyes down the field, and make an accurate throw. Most of these dig balls, you want 1 to 2 yards right outside the dig, right outside the hash marks. He put that ball right on him with 2 guys in his face. It's exactly what you want to see from a quarterback, especially a young quarterback.
If there is one thing he learned at Colorado, and Pat talked about this a lot the last couple of years, it's how to throw with dudes in his face, because he was the most pressured quarterback in Colorado, and he was tough as shit.
Yeah, also, he flexed on him after.
Yeah.
And there were some blindside shots where he's fully exposed at Colorado, and he steps into the throw, dime, and then ear hole in 2024. No penalty somehow, because he's outside the pocket and everything like that. And then he's literally up celebrating with the guy he just threw the touchdown to. It's like that type of toughness.
And it shows a quarterback who should never have lasted until day 3 of the draft. The truth is, the NFL doesn't always reward the best talent. Sometimes politics, business, or fear cloud judgment. Rumors swirled that Sanders' camp wanted contract language giving him a piece of jersey and merchandise sales. Teams hesitated, but Cleveland took the risk, and now that risk is already paying dividends. The league can spin it however they want, but one thing is clear. Sanders isn't just a player, he's a phenomenon. A phenomenon that sells out games, drives national conversation, and delivers on the field. And that combination is priceless. But if the debut was the prologue, the real story is what comes next. Cleveland's quarterback room is suddenly in chaos. A rookie who was supposed to sit quietly in the background is now front page news. Veterans are hurt, depth is shaky, and fans are already calling for Sanders to leapfrog into the starting role. It's a conversation the Browns didn't want to have this soon, but Sanders forced it. He didn't just earn respect, he demanded consideration. And the fact that betting markets now have him as one of the most backed players for Offensive Rookie of the Year after one preseason outing says it all. That's not fan fiction. That's cold cash being placed by people who believe this kid is the real deal. Sanders represents more than just hope for Cleveland. He represents a changing of the guard in the NFL. A reminder that talent doesn't always wear a first-round label. A reminder that pedigree plus preparation equals production, no matter what the experts say. And above all, he represents the rare rookie who can elevate an entire league spotlight without playing a single regular season down. Which brings us to the biggest takeaway of all. If Sanders can generate over 2 million viewers for a preseason game on NFL Network, what happens when he starts in a primetime regular season slot? What happens when the stakes are real, the lights are brighter, and the country is hungry for a new star? The league might have underestimated him, but the fans didn't. They showed up in record numbers. They bought in. They believed. And Sanders rewarded them by showing he was ready for the moment. That's why this story is just getting started. 2.2 million might end up being the warm-up act. The real fireworks are still to come. And when they do, the NFL won't just have a rookie to talk about, they'll have a phenomenon to deal with. Sanders isn't here to play the role of a 5th-round underdog. He's here to flip the script, rewrite the narrative, and force the league to admit they got it wrong. His debut wasn't hype. It wasn't luck. It was proof. Proof that greatness doesn't care about draft slots. Proof that leadership shines brightest under pressure. And proof that when millions of people stop what they're doing to watch you, you're not just another rookie, you're the future. Shedeur Sanders turned a meaningless preseason game into must-see television. And in doing so, he exposed the league, electrified the fans, and reminded the world that the truth always finds a way to shine.